Hi, I'm Mike and Scott. I'm the host of The Pulse, which is a weekly health and science show at WHYY that airs on public radio stations across the country. In 2008, I became WHYY's behavioral health reporter thanks to a grant from the Scattergood Foundation. And I think at the time, I was maybe the only reporter in the country to focus totally on behavioral health. It was still an emerging thing to do for reporters to really hone in on these issues. And back then, some of the big topics I covered were autism and how the children with autism who were now getting older could fit into the workplace and could find better opportunities in the community. But I always thought that reporting on mental health required you to really think about how mental health fits into every single aspect of our lives, of our workplaces, of our families. And that's one of the things I've really enjoyed doing as a reporter and now as the host of The Pulse. And having done this work now for so many years, I don't solely focus on mental health anymore, but I think the show, The Pulse, we have this deep knowledge of these issues and all these sources and all these connections that I was able to make thanks to the Scattergood Foundation support that I've had. And I think that continues to allow us to really do this work and to do it well. So thank you for that, and that's how we scatter good into the community.
Hi, I'm Nina Feldman. I'm WHYY's health reporter, and much of my reporting has focused on behavioral health and the opioid epidemic here in Philadelphia, which has been hit extremely hard by the overdose crisis. People overdose here at a higher rate than in any other big city in America. The latest numbers show that people of color are the group that are driving that rise, so solutions are essential. I do my best to use numbers like that and statistics as a starting point and then report beyond them. And that's meant avoiding the usual tropes we think of when we think about opioid addiction and instead looking to things like the underlying causes of addiction, exploring trauma, telling the stories of people caught in underfunded recovery systems. It's meant looking at possible solutions to the problem, both misguided ones and promising ones. I've closely followed the debate over what could become the nation's first supervised injection site, and that conflict has unfolded in the courts and the neighborhood streets of Philadelphia. Now, the coronavirus pandemic is intersecting with the opioid epidemic. In some ways, that could lead to easier access to treatment for people struggling with addiction who now have fewer barriers to telehealth appointments and loosened restrictions on prescriptions. But also, using in isolation is one of the biggest risks for overdosing. So as with everything in this pandemic, we'll have to follow the story and find out for sure.